Today, two of my favorite things in the world are coming together. HireBus is now on Zapier. So I want to show you how it works. I want to get your feedback so that we can continue to make it better and better and better for you. The power in detail and data from HireBus is now with the customization and integration of Zapier so you can connect all the HireBus data to all the other apps you love to use. I'm going to show you how it works, but before I do, I want you to know one thing. You need to request an invite. It's not public. It's by invite only. So if you're seeing this, either reply to it via email or reply in the comments so that we can invite you to our HireBus Zap. All right, let's jump in. I'll show you what we built. Okay, so there's two types of triggers in our Zap. The first is if someone completes a survey, and the second is someone changes status. So I'm going to show you both those examples. In the Zaps that I built, I just added a row to a Google Sheet. So when a survey is completed, a row is added to a Google Sheet. When someone changes status in HireBus, a row is added to a Google Sheet. But there's so many other things you could do. You could send an email, you could filter, you could add them to your CRM. You can do thousands of different things with Zapier. So let's start with the first thing, which is someone completing an assessment. So my friend Tess Testerson took about half an assessment here, and we're going to submit it. Okay. And if we look while this is submitting and the data is being loaded to the system, when someone completes a survey, we'll create a row in a Google Sheet. Great, Tess Testerson. Someone completed a survey and the data goes into the Google Sheet. And what's cool is you can see first name, last name, email, role, and then you can get the right seat score of various roles. You can get the behavioral scale scores of different behavioral scales. So you can get a ton of data, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But that information pipes in right here, and you can use that to write an email. You could use that to add them to a Go High Level accounts, and you can set up automations. The power is at your fingertips. The next thing, the next app, is when someone changes status. So not everyone knows this, but in HireBus, let's look. There are statuses, okay? We're gonna remove this guy. We're gonna move him to other. So there's statuses here. And so just like when you're running a candidate hiring process, we have statuses aligned to that. A new candidate applies. Then you might review their application. We can move them there. Then you might do an initial phone screen for them. Oh, there we go. Then you might do an initial phone screen for them. Great. Then you might interview them. And eventually you might hire them. At each of those stages, every time you change a status, that triggers an event in the application, and it triggers an event now in Zapier. So you see all those different folks I dragged. This guy reviewed, I moved him twice as you saw, screened, interviewed. If we go back here and I move old Tess Testerson back to screened, let's see. Oh, there it goes. The data pops in. He got screened. And so what's valuable about this is you can imagine as soon as you move someone to interviewed, you might want to set an automation that follows up with them and says, hey, thanks so much for coming in today. And you can do that with setting an email. You could add them to a CRM of yours. By having the ability to have automations trigger when you change status, you can create a lot of really complex automations that make your application process really smooth. And that's largely what we've done with the Done For You hiring funnel, is set automations intelligently based on the different hiring statuses. So I do want to show you all the different fields that we have in these apps so that you can get an understanding of the data that you can use, okay? So I'll just pop it in my Zap that I built tied to survey completed HireBus. And I want you to see all the different data fields. First name, last name, email. You can do role. And there's a lot of like emptier data fields here because we're building out more capabilities to capture that data so you can see what's coming up next. But then you get down here, for each of the behavioral scales, we have a score. For all the right seat scores, we have a score. For self-confidence and self-criticality, we have a score. So you can see all the different data fields that we have available for you now in Zapier. So I hope you get a ton of value out of HireBus now being on Zapier. But more importantly, I want to hear how you're using it. So request an invitation. We'll get you on here and then share how you're using this, because I'm so curious to see and learn from you all as to how you use the power of HireBus and the power of Zapier to create some amazing systems. Have a good day, everybody.